Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Funko Game of Thrones Legacy Collection, figure number 1, Jon Snow. For ages 17 and up, coming to us from the folks over at Funko. Despite the fact that this was the first figure, I know Spot really wanted to look at Tyrion first. So I figured I'd go back and resume where we should have left off, and that going back and looking at figure 1 first. But instead, we're doing figure 1 second. On the back, some artwork. Well, actually, that is a screen grab from the episode with Jon Snow. The Game of Thrones Legacy Collection Series 1 consists of Jon Snow, Tyrion Lannister, the Hound, White Walker, Daenerys Targaryen, and Ned Stark. Also indicated down below, it's powered by Gentle Giant Studios, so perhaps this is a collaboration between the two companies. On the other side, or on the underside of, should say, of the packaging, you can head over to www.funko.com. You can also head over to facebook.com/originalfunko or Twitter @originalfunko as well. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, we're going to get a better look at Jon Snow. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Jon Snow will come with one accessory, and that is a sword. Really nicely detailed, and luckily it did not break, unfortunately, like Tyrion Lannister's axe broke when I took it out of packaging. It's a little more pliable of a plastic, I also found, than the actual axe that he had. It's not to say, though, still be careful with these and when handling them, taking them out of packaging. But some really nice detailing, right down to the actual head. Would you call that the head or the end of the handle of the sword? Little head there. Very nice, very nicely detailed though, and again some nice detailing in the blade also as well. You can take the sword and you can put it actually, Jon Snow has a little holster, little sheath that you can take the blade, take the sword itself and slide it into. It doesn't really allot for a lot of clearance, so you can put it in there. It's going to kind of be sticking into his armpit. So just for that, we'll just take it out. Of course, you can also have him holding it as well. But we'll just put that sword to the side. Jon Snow in his Night's Watch outfit. And again, Spot's going to try his best not to give away too much of Game of Thrones material. Just because, again, if you haven't seen Game of Thrones, why? That's the question I would want to know, is why you have not watched it. It's a phenomenal show, but I'm going to try my best not to give away anything. Some really nice detailing though in his outfit. He's got the fur with the cloak kind of thing going on there, and it's a nice looking piece. I think on a likeness level, Tyrion Lannister looked a little more like Tyrion than this looks more like Jon Snow. It looks like Jon, but on the other end of it, it's missing some element to it. I don't know if it's maybe just the sculpt of the hair, but it's the likeness-wise I don't think is as accurate as Tyrion's was. But it's still a decent-looking figure. He's definitely got a lot going on for him, despite the fact that really the majority of the figure is mostly a black outfit character. He's still got like remains or stains, I guess if you want to give it a stains of like the snow. He's got the snow and sleet on the cape itself, on the back there as well, and in the fur area there as well. Definitely though a lot of layers to Jon Snow, and you could theoretically take this fur cloak off if you wanted to, but it is glued, so really once you've peeled it off and you've removed it, it's only really going to drape on him. It's not going to be able. You really won't be able to affix it back onto the figure. So I'm just more inclined to leave it as is. If you want to take it off, you can certainly do that, but I'm more inclined just to leave it on. Your articulation for Jon Snow, his head is on a ball joint. Now, actually, funny enough, when I got him out of packaging, this head section right here was tilted to the side, and I thought, oh no, what's gone wrong with this figure? But it actually turns out that there's a ball joint up in the head area where it sits into the head socket, and there's a ball joint right at the neck area as well. So it's just a matter of adjusting it, and Jon Snow is alive and back to normal. So he does have a rotation in the head, but he does also have a rotation also in the lower socket of the neck as well. So you get a fair bit of movement from the figure itself. Same thing could be said for his shoulders, despite the fact that he has the cape cloak going on there. You can still move the arms quite freely. They're not hindered, they're not restricted or anything by the fact that he has this on, that you can still move the arms fairly easy. He has a swivel in the forearm, also has a single bend in the elbow, a swivel in the hand. And in the same way, well, I shouldn't say in the same way of Tyrion. Tyrion didn't unfortunately have this, but Jon Snow does have a ball joint in the upper torso area, so you can move quite freely. Really would allow you to get some nice poses out of him too, by the fact that you can rotate the torso as much as you can. It doesn't look like, though, he does have a swivel in the waist, although I said that initially with Tyrion, and sure enough, there was a waist swivel. But I don't see one actually on the figure itself. The legs do go forward and back out. He has a double bend at the knee, a swivel, and hinge in the foot. Once again, no peg holes on the undersides of the feet, so which is fine because he doesn't have a display stand. A display stand would have been very cool to get, especially then you could have had the display stand with the name. It could have said Game of Thrones. It could have said could have showed the family crest and possibly the name. But as it is, he still stands fairly easy, and I don't seem to have any problems with getting him to pose and still stand, despite the fact he has all this cape area at the back. He's not really as back heavy as I thought he was going to be. I still think Tyrion is the stronger figure from this wave so far. We still have to look at the other figures that made up this Series 1, but Jon Snow's not too bad. I'm going to give him actually a 7. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Funko Game of Thrones Legacy Collection. This was figure 1, and we're looking at Jon Snow. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have a look at the other Game of Thrones Legacy figures. Those reviews will be lined up and heading your way right after this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.